problem with defensive line is typically, and this year looks like a typical year, there's never too many of those guys around, and how you fit a guy into the 3-4, I think, is always difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're quite easy to easy is not the right word, but they're easier to judge when you're looking at edge guys and defensive tackles from the 4-3. But when you're trying to look at a guy, does he fit into the 3-4?
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when you're trying to work out whether this is going to be a 3 technique guy or a 5 technique guy. I think it's really difficult, and that's why I struggle with the value of those guys at 29 or wherever it is the Packers are picking.
So you're not looking at from the aspect of there's this amount of players depth wise, and Barrymore is not the standout. If he's there, it's a ridiculous player
not for me right now. I mean, I think for me it's corner or offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have to. For me, it's get past March the 17th, where we've got to make a bunch of moves between now and March the 17th, whatever those are. And then I think we see where we are. I mean, I think other than quarterback and kicker and punter, obviously, I think the Packers are actually in quite a good position drafting, because they can almost just simply take the best player available on the board at the point that they draft, and they've got, I don't want to say holes, but there's an opportunity for any player that they pick at 29, whatever position he is, to improve the team.
That's what I mean. Well, we got a great show lined up, everybody. We have Peter Jones from the UK with us today, and we are going to talk all kinds of fun things about the Green Bay Packers. Peter is one of the most intelligent Packer fans, and as well as being a historian, we're going to touch on all of his strengths today, because he sent over a spreadsheet today, gentlemen, to talk about some of the values in gaining our salary cap via cutting some of these players. And that was a great spreadsheet you sent over, Peter. So we're going to get into that. Also, want to touch on, maybe we'll touch on that Super Bowl for a little bit, for maybe a second. I just want to talk about Tom Brady for a little bit, cool down those Twitter haters, and get on to our Packer profile of the day. Hall of Famer, Gold Jacket member, Charles Woodson. So all that's coming up in the show. Thank you for people on Twitter unhappy about the comparisons of Tom Brady being the greatest of all time. Maybe the NFL needs to retire the number 12 altogether league-wide. What Tom Brady had to do, the quarterbacks he beat to get to the Super Bowl. Guys, the numbers don't lie. Tom Brady, great leader, did not have some of the best stats of his career, but he's a winner. All right. What do we feel about these comparisons to everybody else? Specifically Aaron Rodgers. What do you think, Eric?
Well, first, to get the Super Bowl garbage out of the way, Brees, Rodgers, Mahomes, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Again, as I've said several times before, Aaron Rodgers has got to play 8 more years to really be in the conversation. But in basketball, is the example I always use. Bill Russell, 11 championships. Is he better than Michael Jordan? Is he the greatest of all time? No. You can go back to a Charles Woodson terrible officiating call, which would have been Brady's second Super Bowl, I believe. Goodness gracious. Tom Brady's a winner. He's the best game manager. You said specific to Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers throws for a higher percentage, longer passes, more touchdowns, a lot less interceptions. Still, 7 titles. He's got more championships than the Steelers do. He's got more championships than the Patriots do.
Yeah, well, it's just the GOAT conversation and him being the GOAT and GOAT this and GOAT that. And I just think football is the ultimate team sport. What are your feelings, Peter?
Exactly that. It is the ultimate team sport. And whilst, it's more of a passing league than it's ever been, I think when you look at the GOAT conversation, if you have to have that conversation, it's just one factor, isn't it? You want to look at the complete body of work. Stats do come into it. They absolutely do. You look at innovation, and you look at the ability to win. And no quarterback has had a greater ability to win the big game than Tom Brady. So that's one factor in that whole conversation. Winning 7 championships doesn't make him the best ever. Bart Starr won 5. Dan Marino won none. Jim Kelly won none. Laura Moon won none. It doesn't make Dan Marino a worse quarterback than, give me a name, Brad Johnson that won one Super Bowl, or Trent Dilfer that won one Super Bowl. So it's simply one statistic, very important statistic. But I think when you're judging the GOAT, I think it's a number of things. You're looking at stats, you're looking at innovation, you're looking at the ability to win, you're looking at who they played with, the year they played in, etc., etc.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on because the offseason is officially kicked off here. And some of the biggest questions we have, March 17th is the date that is on everybody's calendar right now, 4 p.m. Eastern. Free agency starts. And the questions that we have on our team are the same things we've been talking all year, but right now it's actually coming to fruition. The reality is here. Peter, you did a great job on talking about how much money we could save on players with either restructures or having those players outright cut. But I want to start kind of in some of these players that maybe are not mentioned right off the bat, right? Like I want to talk about like a Devin Funchess. His contract is confusing for me a little bit on the savings regarding he signed last year and that contract gets moved over this year. But when I look on Spotrac, I don't know how I'm digesting this, this contract for him where it says, it's $1 million we're going to save. He's going to count $1 million in dead money. Am I missing something here, Peter? What do you understand about that Devin Funchess contract for 2.5?
Yeah, well, the big saving is his base salary if they were to cut him. So it is, and it's a very, it's almost, well, it is a unique situation in that even though he in essence signed a 1-year contract, it's a 1-year contract that's become 2 half years almost. I don't know how to explain it. It's not 2 years, but it's kind of half of it. So the signing bonus that he got counted in 2020. So that's where the part of the cap money is, and that's already gone.
Okay.
But his base salary and his workout bonus counts in 2021. Okay. So if they were to cut him, that signing bonus is already gone. They've already counted that against the 2020 cap. So that's why even though the contract value is 2 point something,
2.5,
half of that's already gone.
Yeah.